deals with corporate venture capital at Eli Lilly. During the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to give you an introduction to Eli Lilly, and we're going to discuss the differences between corporate venture capital and venture capital. Then we're going to tell you a little bit about whether Eli Lilly should invest in protagonists, and we're going to exemplify this using Chesler's framework. We're then going to go on to the reasons why they may consider a minority equity investment as opposed to an outright acquisition in the other firm protagonist, and then we'll finish off with some concluding remarks and recommendations. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit, well, I'm going to give you a brief insight into who Eli Lilly is. So they're a US-based pharmaceutical company that was established in 1876, and their aim is to improve human longevity and quality of life around the world. Now they've got quite a diverse portfolio, and they have built this up over the years, and the three of the primary fields that they're established in is biotechnology, medical devices, and of course in the healthcare field. Now, moving on to our actual case study, it deals with the two firms, both Lilly Ventures and Protagonist. Now, Lilly Ventures seeks to invest in innovative thinking and novel technologies in other firms. Now, within the company there exists Lilly Ventures, and their primary aim is to make equity investments in startup companies because they can gain access to such novel technologies. Now, they've actually found such a company in the form of Protagonist, who are an Australian-based biopharmaceutical company, and they've actually come up with the sort of technology that Eli Lilly is interested in. Now, I'm going to hand over to Vito to carry on.
Thank you very much, Saina. Well, as she had mentioned, this company, Eli Lilly, is looking to improve the quality of life and longevity of the individuals. So in order to do that, Eli Lilly invests in startup companies with the aim to get some strategic gain. How they do it is that they are always looking for technological revolutions and innovative thinking and novel technologies outside Eli Lilly in startup companies. They focus, as Saina had mentioned, on drug discovery and emerging technologies and possible treatments for healthcare. The way they do it is that they look for startup companies who are in an early stage in the process of investigation or research on certain of these technologies, and they take a minority equity stake in a specialist in those companies. You may be wondering why they don't do it by themselves, that they invest in this research and development in their own company inside. They do, but Eli Lilly is divided into, the structure is divided to provide Eli Lilly Ventures, which is the one that looks for these alternatives outside the company, because they say that, well, they mean that investing outside may be cheaper, as these companies, they may incur in less administrative costs. Also, they may be more innovative because perhaps large companies are already so used to see things in a certain way, and these new or startup companies, they may be more innovative or having new ideas to how to develop things, and they may be more specialized. So this is called corporate venture capital, and this is what enables the company, Eli Lilly, to make decisions quickly whenever there is a new technology, new product, or new development for treatment. Also, these small companies look for Eli Lilly Ventures investment because these may also, the name of Eli Lilly brings prestige to these startup companies, and this may attract some other investors for some other projects they have. So they are looking for Eli Lilly to invest in their technologies and as a part of a kind of approbation from Eli Lilly. Also, Eli Lilly's the difference from CVC, corporate venture capital, from regular VC is that Eli Lilly doesn't expect for financial gains immediately. Also, they invest in as a part of a syndicate, which in the end may bring some other U.S. investors, and this may be some trouble for Eli Lilly in the future. However, that's the way they do it. Also, the investment fund that Eli Lilly has is not managed by a third-party company. but it is managed actually by Eli Lilly Ventures. Also, the company provides some kind of patronage, experience, knowledge, and physical and intangible assets to the startup companies. And as a part of collaborative agreements, they can also help in research and development, logistics, and distribution. So, the overall strategy of Eli Lilly with this CVC is not entirely for financial gains, but even if the startup companies do not get into a final product, Eli Lilly still gets some experience and some other aspects, such as they can broaden and diversify Eli Lilly's portfolio with the products with the other companies. So I will pass it on to Fran, who will elaborate more on the investment with the protagonist.
Thank you, Vito. Question 2 states, should Eli Lilly invest in protagonists? And if so, what is the rationale of this investment? When considering whether Lilly should invest in protagonists, Lilly Ventures should consider its overall strategy as a firm and whether protagonist goals are aligned with it. In a quote stated by the firm itself, they state, "We need strategic alignment, but not identity with Lilly's strategic development and research strategy. This means that any potential investment by Lilly Ventures must be a strategic fit with Lilly first. Therefore, we have to take into account Lilly's overall goal, which is to focus on Lilly's areas of operation, but selectively explore emergent technologies, including some that take a different approach to Lilly's current business mix. After considering strategy, Lilly should consider its current situation as a firm. Lilly faces several problems. As you can see from this exhibit, these problems include an increasing cost of sales, R&D, and long-term debt, as well as decreasing net income as a percent of sales, return on shareholders' equity, and return on assets over the past 4 years from 2000 to 2004. Therefore, it is crucial that Lilly finds a way to enhance innovation to shorten its time to market for its drugs, which can be done by using the rational drug design, such as in the case of protagonists. Using Chesbro's framework, Lilly exhibits an enabling strategy when considering investing in protagonists. An enabling strategy is defined as a venture capitalist investing mode in which a company invests primarily for strategy reasons, but does not couple the venture tightly with its own operations. Thus, Lilly Ventures should consider protagonists as a strategic corporate venture capitalist investment because it can provide Lilly with explorative benefits as well as access into new innovative technologies which it needs. Based on these assumptions, protagonist is a viable fit because its technological capability benefits the firm Lilly as a whole. Its software actually reduces the time and amount of R&D resources it takes to identify optimal candidates for lab synthesization. However, protagonist does not wish to integrate the two firms into one entity, and this coincides with Lilly's overall goal to make strategic technological gains from making minority investments in biotechnology startups. Therefore, overall, through the enabling strategy, Lilly will gain the benefits of investing in a small, possibly more innovative firm such as Protagonist. These gains will include complementary technology, and it will also allow it to avoid the risk of an acquisition of a biotechnology company that has yet to put out a product. Thus, Protagonist fulfills Lilly's investment and strategic goals of technological gains by minority investment. And now I'll pass you on to Sid.
Good afternoon. Now the third question is, why did Eli Lilly consider a minority stake in Protagonist? Now, this tabular framework is taken from the referred paper by Hale and Furnham 2004, where it mentions some key questions which explains the level of equity in another company. Now these questions, first question is, are there any benefits from excluding rivals? Now the answer of this question is of course yes. So there is a need of high equity in the company. However, in our case it's a no, because It's too early right now and the results are yet to be seen. The second question is, are there any needs for relationship-specific investment? Again, the answer to the question is yes. So we need a high equity. Again, but in our case it's a no, because they're not shifting whole company from Australia to America. They're just shifting the corporate office or opening a corporate office in America. So there's no need of such big investment. Now the third question is the extensive knowledge sharing and coordination. Yes, you need a high equity, but again it's a no in our case, because they're usually avoiding the potential loss which they will occur after transferring technology from protagonist ecosystem to theirs. Now I will hand over to Carol for the next one.
Okay, as we can see from the framework, apart from the benefit criteria, there are also three cost criteria, include market uncertainty, technology uncertainty, and motivation. The manager of the focal firm will consider the equity level suggested by each of the criteria and pick up the lowest. In other words, if there is a significant uncertainty regarding the market or the technology, or if the motivation of the partner firm is low in shifting their working condition after the partnership, it will have a high cost for the focal firm to have no ownership in the partner firm. Therefore, the equity level in the partner firm should be low. In our specific case, as we know, Protagonist software platform has a high potential in the long run, but currently is still in its early stage and no product has been produced by this platform yet. So Lily Venture consider the platform gives a company low valuation, which associated with high risk and lack of liquidity from 5 to 7 years. Additionally, because Protagonist's vision is to remain independent in its research, and most of its current facility harbor its innovative capacity in Australia, so it would be costly and have a risk of losing its current ecosystem if they're changing their working environment. So in a word, due to the high uncertainty of the market and technology and the low employee motivation in Protagonist, Lily Venture will only consider to take minority equity in Protagonist. Then pass on to Yang.
Thank you, Carol. As you have seen, there are multiple variables to consider before reaching a conclusion as to whether or not Lily Ventures should invest in Protagonist and under which premise. Considering CVC's differences for regular venture capital investors, Lily Ventures' intended strategy, and as well as Chesterfield's framework, we have come to the conclusion that Lily Ventures should promote an enabling strategy for Protagonists and seek to help them develop their own technological capability for the rational drug design, mainly by provision of capital and to less extent by their organizational capability. The promise of the rational drug design and its potential contribution to the industry as a whole cannot be underestimated in the capital and knowledge-intensive field of pharmaceuticals. The shortened time frame and reduction in costs related to R&D stand to benefit all participants and perhaps especially Eli Lilly. And it's therefore the strategic fit, which is the main argument, combined with the promise of a first mover advantage. You might ask, why shouldn't Lily Ventures just acquire Protagonists as a whole and integrate it fully into Eli Lilly? Well, there are several reasons for that. Firstly, it is not something Protagonist desires. And secondly, at the current developmental stage, a lot of risk remains before any potential gains might be achieved. Another argument is that much of Protagonist's innovative capability and technological know-how might be embedded in their current organizational structure. And some of these qualities might erode if they are forced to move or change to succumb to ownership. However, we do suggest that Eli Lilly look into the possibility of acquiring Protagonists at a later stage of their development, especially if their technological capability proves to be a success and they change their mentality regarding a sale. If these two criteria are met, the minor equity investment it should now commit to might make this hypothetical acquisition easier at a later period of time, given that it by then should have been able to create a relationship with Protagonists and gain some insight into how the firm operates, which we believe might make and potential acquisition easier, like I said before. And on that note, we welcome any questions and thank you for your attention.